Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is someone who isn't afraid to play with superpower, Dan Ryan.
Never have been. Never have been. It's my reputation on the streets.
That's what they say, Dan. The best play here. Or the best play, Dan.
Yeah. Yes?
The Dan plays here?
Pass.
I don't know how to change your name and whatever. Tonight we'll be assembling our Stone Age Starter Kit for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Play it loud because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now.
Oh, God.
Sega!
Wait, am I doing that right? I don't remember. I'm old.
I love that shit when Sega was just like, advertising-wise, completely trouncing Nintendo. It was just like, good times, fun times for all. And like, I'm a little kid smiling grin ear to ear, but like everyone else on the planet is, no, 90s, grunge, edge,
yes.
Sega! And then they were like, all right, fine, we can do that too. And then they had this like fucking commercial where dudes are getting tattoos of Nintendo characters and Kirby's wearing like thick gold chains. I'm like,
yeah,
this does not check out.
Yeah, it's not your wheelhouse, guys.
I did the math. It does not add up. I thought it was cool as hell at the time because, you know, it was the 90s. It was Nintendo. I was like, yeah, Nintendo could do cool too.
That's right.
Cool.
Nintendo's extreme.
I'm hip. I'm with it.
Hello, fellow young people.
I've never been with it.
No, God.
But I tell you what I am with, Dan. All right, first off, this is episode 388. It's the week of December 10th, 2021, and I have made a pot roast.
Oh, good God. Say it ain't so.
Yeah, no, I made a pot roast. It's like, all right, so
you are officially an adult. That's how you know. That's what it is. Like when your kids ask you, Dad, when will I be an adult? When you make a pot roast on purpose. That makes you an adult.
So we were looking for something to do for dinners this week, and
sure.
Karen suggested ziti, and we just did ziti like not last week but the week before.
Okay.
And she wanted to like I'm a spaghetti sauce snob kind of, you know,
right,
because I grew up making the homemade sauce all the time. So she was just going to buy a jar of sauce and make ziti, and like it's fine when she does that. It's like it's okay, but I don't really enjoy it. But that was the whole point. Was just like I just want the easiest thing I can think of. I was like,
right.
Well, I'll cook. I can cook. I'll cook. I love cooking things. I just did this ziti a few weeks ago, which was awesome. It had like 13 different cheeses in it and fucking pesto on top. And it was really good.
I enjoy really a good pesto.
Oh man, pesto plus ziti. I never would have pieced that together, but damn was it exquisite. So anyway, I was like, all right, well, what's on sale? And I saw that like different cuts of like bottom round or whatever were on sale. And I don't know shit about meat. I just know that I like eating steak. and whatnot. So I looked up online, like, what can I do with bottom round? And like, you can make a pot roast out of it. Like there's better cuts of meat to do pot roast out of, but you can do a pot roast with this. And I'm like, well, I don't know what a pot roast is, but you know, fuck it. Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Now, what I didn't realize until I started looking at the pictures of a pot roast, I was like, this is that shit my grandma used to make.
Yeah, because she was an adult.
I've had this like flavor profile in my head and I've never been able to articulate it. It was like, it's this meat that like falls apart that my grandma used to make. And my mom would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And nobody else would know because nobody else knows my fucking grandma. She's dead. So,
poor mother. Your mother's a saint.
She is a saint.
She really is.
But then I pieced it together with this power. I was like, shit, this is it. This is going to be it, right? This is the flavor that I've been trying to piece together my whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
And then I made the pot roast and that was it. And it was freaking tasty. But what's weird is that, like, I really enjoyed the vegetables, too. And that's how I knew I was an adult.
Yeah. I ate carrots on purpose.
Right? And, like, I don't really mess with cooked carrots outside of a good chicken pot pie. You know?
Sure.
But they were delicious. They're covered in beef broth. How could they not be? But, man.
It's fair.
I'm so proud of myself for making this pot roast. And I'm proud of myself for making that ziti a few weeks ago, too. Because it was like, you know, sausage and a bunch of cheeses and some recipe I saw on a cooking show over at my mom's house. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually do this. And I like cooking. Cooking's fun.
I mean, I have also made some strides. I have gotten it to the point where, I mean, 1 to 2 drops of milk max are spilling out of the cereal bowl now when I pour. So, I mean,
shit,
you know,
that's a lifetime of practice right there.
we're both moving forward in our culinary careers, Kris. I mean, we're both like, we're about the same almost, you know.
Absolutely.
No, that's like it's interesting the flavor profile thing, right? Because there are those memories that you have of stuff like when you were a kid, and the people that you would like to ask, be like, hey, what was that shit you used to make back in the day? But they're dead, so you can ask them, but you're probably not going to get an answer. And there was mine, it's this elusive chocolate pudding that I've been looking for for years, and I have no description of it other than it came in a can. It was like in the mid 80s in North Jersey, right? And my grandmother, who came to this country like after World War II, because my grandfather met her in Holland during World War II, and sent for her, right? Like an old school, like, that, bring me that woman, I'm going to marry her. Like that. And he did, indeed he did. And you know, here I am. Because she grew up in Holland during World War II, you know, she was always scared of people attacking. So her entire cupboard in the basement of their house in New Milford, New Jersey, was stocked with canned goods. And I think the reason that I can't find this chocolate pudding anymore is because I think my grandmother bought every goddamn can of it. Like, she had enough food in her basement to feed an army for months. Like, and it was all canned goods, and she would just, it was obsessive compulsive hoarding. We didn't call it that at the time. We were just like, oh, Annie's cute. That was kind of how we dealt with it. Like, isn't she funny? She's traumatized from the war. Ha ha, look at all the canned goods. That was how my family handled it, which is, you know, it explains quite a bit about me, I think. But I've never been able to find this chocolate pudding again. And every time I see, like, I will seek out, like, grocery stores in new areas and be like, ooh, here's a chocolate pudding I've never seen before, and I'll take it home, like, because they don't make chocolate pudding in cans anymore. That's just weird. But, like, I'll see it, and I'll take it home, and I'll make it, and be like, nope, it's not it. It's just, it had this particular, like, tang to it that I don't, like, I assume came from being in a can. I don't know that that's true, but that's the only thing that I can connect it to.
This specific aluminum flavor.
Yeah, man, it was fucking great.
It sounded like I was making a joke, but I'm not, because you know me, I have an obsession with Juicy Juice.
Yeah.
And Juicy Juice used to come in cans.
Yeah.
And there was that specific kind of aluminum twang to it, like drinking it straight out of the can.
It was a little sharp.
Yeah, it had that little tiny metallic taste to it. It was, you can replicate it with human blood, but it's not, you know, it's not
It's chocolate blood pudding. That makes it so much better. Oh, man. I don't know. I think the fact that, like, I was either sold at, like, A&P or Grand Union or Pathmark, and, like, I don't even know if those are still in business anymore. You know, like North Jersey grocery stores. I don't think any of them are.
They're all ShopRites now.
Yeah, like, everything's a ShopRite and an Acme. Or if you're an asshole, an Acme. Fucking people
that's
around
not
here
okay. That's not okay.
What,
there's no
Acme?
Other, that syllable's not there. How dare you?
Nope. Yeah, South Jersey though, man. Sometimes,
man,
I'm going to the Acme. You going where? You fuck right off. That's where you're going.
I can go to the
Taking
Acme,
a long walk off of short piers, sir.
There's no second A.
There's not.
Lunatic.
Lunatics. Anyway, I'm proud of your culinary adventures. I've said it before. I will continue to say it. I think raw meat is yucky, and I don't want to touch it, so I don't cook. It's like, ew, yucky pooties, and I'm not touching.
No, I'm into it. It's fun.
Yeah, I've heard that about you. Slapping raw meat left and right.
That's what I do.
Oh God, like that working at a butcher shop, like that would be the worst fucking job I could possibly imagine.
See, I don't think I could do that because like I as long as it doesn't actually resemble the animal it came from, like that's where it's like once I have to actually behead a chicken and skin something, that's I can't do that. But when it's already just meat, it's fine.
Yeah. Nah, that's fair. Tiff can't eat food off the bone. So
I get that.
You know.
I used to struggle with that one too. I still don't like it, but you know, I'll do it when necessary.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like every time I eat something off the bone, I'm getting all this extra shit I don't want to eat too. It's like, well, there's the meat, but then here's a whole bunch of like weirdo tissue, and here's a bunch of fat, and like you don't want to eat all that stuff.
Well, don't eat that part.
I don't. But it's all
or do.
It's all there together. Give me my chicken nuggets.
Give me my fucking mechanically separated chicken. Goddammit. You're not a bone marrow guy, Kris? Not cracking the bone and eating the marrow out?
No,
not your thing.
Not my thing.
That's all right.
Back when Karen and I were like, still early on dating, we went out to a Red Lobster.
Back when you guys weren't sure yet.
We were at Red Lobster, and for my annual Red Lobster birthday dinner, because you know I'm me, and I was just going to town on some crab legs, and she's just watching me like in awe/horror.
Yeah.
And she's like, so you're really going to get all that out of there, huh? I was like, that's how you get its powers.
That's right. That's how I consume its essence.
I think that's when she decided to marry, when she was going to marry me. She laughed pretty hard. That definitely caught her off guard.
This is Captain Crabman over here is the one who I want to father my children one day.
Nailed it.
It's so weird, right? Like, eating is super gross. Like, watching other people eat is fucking gross most of the time. Yet, that is like our traditional date. That's weird.
I mean, I
guess. Hey,
it's like,
let's go do this really gross thing together.
Yeah, but it's like the thing that everybody has to do, and it's less gross than watching each other poop.
I mean, is it though? I don't know that it is. I don't know, because like you're seated.
I'll tell you what, if you're watching somebody eat and it's less attractive than watching the poop, then I think you're on a bad date.
I don't know. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to talk our way through it, Kris, just to make sure that we come to the proper conclusion. Because I'm saying you might have cut yourself off before really considering all the angles. I mean, just, you know.
That was how my friend, my friend Jim, when we were in high school, he said like, I know that's the perfect way to get over a girl that you're like that you're like nuts about, but she doesn't like you back. Just imagine her taking a big dump. Just imagine this girl you love just taking the fattest dump.
Oh, like, gross.
You're sick, Jim, but that kind of works.
Fucking. Oh man, that reminds me. You ever see? Oh fuck!
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear where this is going.
Pete Davidson. Is it Pete Davidson? The guy who did the Bad Man stuff? No. What the fuck is it? Pete Davidson's on SNL. Pete something. Pete Holmes? He did like the weird Batman impersonation. I don't know. He's fucking got a stand-up special on HBO, and he's like, you know, he's talking about like getting into fights with people and how he doesn't want to fight people as an adult male and how he gets like intimidated by people. And he's like, you know what I do whenever I find somebody who's really scary in life? I just imagine them sleeping. Everybody sleeps. So this guy who's all big and scary, tattooed, you know, bald head, yelling at me, I just imagine him in bed, tucked up, going, mew, 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 and just fucking sleeping. And it just really makes me feel better. It's good stuff. Just imagine her taking a dump. I don't know. No, you're right. Pooping is definitely worse than eating. However, which I think there's your episode title right there. You're right. Pooping is definitely worse than eating. But I don't know. It's a weird first date thing. I just think, I guess it's good, like, barometer of, like, oh, this person chews with their mouth open, and I want to fucking break their teeth. I don't know. This fucking took a weird direction this week, Kris. Yeah. What happens when we don't have a guest to interview?
Let's see if we can't rein it in, huh?
We just get to ramble on about stuff. I played video games, Kris.
We got here from pot roast.
We did.
So we got
from
here.
Pot roast
what
to
did
pooping.
You play? What did you play, sir?
Well, I played
stuff too. I'm excited.
God, I played just an absurd amount of this one particular dungeon in Pad. I played other things too, but like I was trying to clear this one dungeon on my Japanese account, and I have 2 Japanese accounts, right? Because I have a problem, and both of those accounts are like I have the ideal team minus 1 card, so it's like fuck. All right, it's fine. I'll try and make it work, and I put a large chunk of time into trying to clear this dungeon. Because you get 85 stones when you clear it, and I don't spend any money on my Japanese accounts. I've had them for a while, so like I don't have just an excess of magic stones there. And there's a really good Player's Choice Super Godfest thing going on. I was like, fuck, I really want to, get the stones for this. So I was playing one of the really hard end game dungeons that have a particular boss spawn, and neither of the teams that I have can defeat this boss. Like there is no hope. I don't do enough damage. The color typing is all wrong. Like all of that stuff, it just doesn't work. And just getting to the boss is hard enough. And of the 12 to 15 times that I got to the boss, I got one of the rare spawns every single fucking time. And when I say like a rare spawn, I'm saying it has like a 2.5% chance to spawn. And every goddamn time. So I didn't clear the dungeon. And it's like the most effort I've put into that game in a while, and I still didn't do what I needed to do. It was very deflating. So I was like, you know what, Pad? Fuck you for like a little bit. I'll play tomorrow. But I'm going off and doing other things now. So I went and finished Circle of the Moon, because I was a little less than halfway through that. So I was like, I really want to just go through and finish off Circle of the Moon, and then I want to go back and figure out how I want to play the Castlevania games, because PlayStation was doing a Black Friday sale, and they had the what the fuck's the subtitle on this one? Requiem, I think, is one of the collections. It's got Rondo of Blood.
Yes,
and
it's Castlevania Requiem, yeah.
Requiem, right? So it's Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night.
And the bullshit version of Symphony of the
Night. $5.
Yeah, that's worth it.
It's usually $20, but it was $5. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. So now on my PS5, I've got the Castlevania collection, the Castlevania Advance collection, and Requiem. So it was like, okay, so I've got most of the Castlevania that I'm interested in playing, like minus the DS games. So I went back and finished Circle of the Moon, and now I'm going to figure out how I want to approach this going forward. Like, do I want to go play them in the order they were released? Do I want to play them in storyline order? Because I've got all of it, and I want to get through, because they're just so good. Like, Circle of the Moon, that game's really good. It's not as good as the later Castlevania Advance games, like we said, but hey, that's a really fun game. I like that one a lot. It's got a good... Yeah, it's got a good
look to it. It's got really great music. It feels good to play. It's not too slow.
Yeah, well, especially like early on in the game, once you get the dash.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right, I'm just double tapping everywhere.
Yeah.
The dual soul system, the fucking card drop thing, is a little bit of a pain in the ass because the card drops are so infrequent. Mm-hmm. But it's good because they're so powerful once you get them. Like I just went through, once I got the Rose Sword and I was able to do that one, I was like, all right, well, I'm just fucking doing this.
The Rose
and
Whip?
the rewind feature That's just, man, it's good stuff. It's really like,
I love a good rewind feature.
And I don't feel even a little bit bad about spamming it because I've beaten these games already. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going back and
too
doing
old for this shit.
Yeah, I'm just fuck. You know, I forgot what to do against Dracula. So like, oh, that's right, I got to do the rock wing, and I got to fly up to the top of the screen when he does this like instant kill thing. Shit. All right, rewind. You know, but yeah, it's got a good Dracula fight. Like the graphics are cool. It's a good game. I really like it. Yeah, so man. I got to figure out what the hell to do next with Castlevania. But I also picked up on sale. It was like $1.49 or something like that. This weird little pixel platformer called Moon Raider. It's got like a really cute art style, but everything about the game, like you can really, really tell that it is an indie game. Like this is somebody's first fucking thing. It just doesn't have any polish whatsoever. And one of the issues, I don't know if this bothers you as much as it bothers me, but in a lot of the retro style games, right, when you push up on the D-pad, a lot of times the screen will move up, right? So you can see.
Yeah.
Also sometimes happens because your character can aim, vertically and shoot upwards and whatnot. And usually it's a relatively smooth, like you push up and it kind of goes up a little bit.
Yeah.
In this game, you push up and it's like a fucking kid with ADD. It's, what's over there? Holy shit. You want me to look up here? Okay, I'm looking up here. All right. It's awesome. You're like, no, I was just aiming up at this thing. And you're like, it's fucking jarring, man. Like it is a ridiculously fast transition up. I'm like, God damn it. This is weird. But like, other than that, it's I don't know. It's fine. It's a cute little game, whatever. I bought it because, support indie developers and whatnot. But the main thing that I picked up that I'm really, really loving so far is Death's Door.
I've heard of this one.
That isometric, which I usually hate, but I imagine it plays similarly to like Hades. It's kind of like Bastion and that sort of like perspective on the game, but you are a crow who is a reaper, and your job is to go out and collect a soul, right? And it's got some like cheeky writing. You get the soul that you have to go take. Chandler the handler is the guy at the office who sends you out, because it's like an office job for this crow. And you walk through this door, and you go out and you fight this big demonic forest witch, right? And it's like, you gotta go pick up this giant soul, and like, who knows, maybe you bring this soul back and it'll be, you can take some vacation time, because this is a big one. So you go out and you fight her, and it's cool, like, little fight to start it off with, and kind of shows you a bunch of the mechanics in the game and how the bosses are gonna move. And then, as you are, like, all right, sweet, I beat her, I'm gonna take this thing back, I'm sure something is going to happen, because otherwise this is a really short game and I shouldn't have spent $20 on it. Inevitably it does. This old crow comes and like knocks you over the head and steals the soul. And, you got to make your way through the rest of the level, and the bosses at the office are like, the fuck back out there and find the soul. You can't come back in here until you, until you get the one we sent you out for. It's not how this works. They're like, all right, fuck, got to go back out there. And you learn some more of the mechanics, and you meet some more characters along the way. And then you finally catch up to this old crow again. And he tells you the story. He apologizes for stealing the soul from you because he needed it to open up the door of death, right? The Death's Door from the title.
Title drop.
Title drop. And he thought that with a soul that big, it would finally be enough to pry open the door, because he has spent his whole life. He used to be a young reaper like the player character, but now he is this old gray crow, because he also lost the soul when he was young and has spent his entire life trying to get through this door that the soul went into. And he thought, this soul is big enough. This will finally be enough to get through there. Obviously, it wasn't. He tells you that there are 3 more giant souls in this world that you need to go get because he's too old to do it, and since he's fucked over your day, you have no choice now. And that's kind of where the game, like, puts you into it and starts you going. And it is really, really good. It's really good. It plays really well. It looks really great. I usually hate this kind of isometric, kind of weird perspective, but the combat feels really good. Like, controlling the character feels really good. It's got some cheek to it, where you can pick up different items and use them as weapons, and I got an umbrella that I can use as a weapon. And, when you switch over to it, it's just a little crow walking around carrying an umbrella. And it's pretty great. And you get magic spells to use. And the only one I have so far is a bow and arrow that you can shoot, like a magic arrow. But they use that to solve, like, interesting environmental puzzles where you have to shoot the arrow through like a flaming urn kind of thing to light something else on fire. And it's like, oh, this is clever and interesting. And I've put, I don't know, maybe an hour or so into it. And it's really, really, really good. I'm really surprised at how much I'm liking it.
Well, that's wonderful news.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. If you see it on sale, it's only $20 regularly, but like, I think this is a game that, like, the kids would like too. Like, I think John and Ellie is how their names are said. I think they would like it too.
Or just one Kryptonian.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I think so tired. I'm just tired.
And my sense of humor is exhausting.
Oh, God, it really is. I'll be here all week. Try the fish. Yeah, like the art style is just like kind of perfect. It looks like a really cool cartoon, I get Samurai Jack vibes from it for some reason that I can't really pinpoint, but I do, kind of like a weird Samurai Jack.
I remember seeing trailers for this.
Yeah. Like Samurai Jack and like Gravity Falls, like some of the monster designs are really outlandish and really big and cool and interesting. Yeah, it's really good.
I had been really, really interested in this one. I remember seeing the trailers for this back when it was announced and thinking, oh yeah, this looks really flippin' cool. This looks right up my alley.
Yeah, I would say it is. I think you should definitely pick it up. We'll see. Like I said,
games.
Yeah, you don't have anything else that you're doing right now, so
nothing at all.
Unless Barry sent you some review codes, because he didn't send me any. Apparently, my interview last week didn't go very well. I thought I was convincing.
Well, I sure as shit don't have any money for anything new.
Well, that's certainly true.
That's
well, that like I said, I think I spent $20 and I got like 5 games. You know what I mean? Like because I picked up a couple other things that I haven't started yet, but like Death's Door and Castlevania Requiem, and then this Moon Raider, and then I think I got two or three other things as well, and it was like $25 because everything was stupid on sale. I'm really hoping that somebody gets me Guardians of the Galaxy for Christmas, though, because I am hearing nothing but good stuff about it, and I really want to play it.
I have also heard very good things about that, but it's just so far outside of where I would even begin to pretend to be able to play. I still haven't even turned on Star Wars yet. It's been that nutty around here. Plus, all of my nighttime activity has been dedicated to catching up on some TV. There's been a lot of TV happening around here. Like,
oh yeah,
we just finished Cowboy Bebop this afternoon. Hawkeye's going on. The last episode of Doctor Who was last night.
How was that?
I still hold true to what I said to you before. It's the best the show's. It's the best the show's been in a while. It's got a lot of the flavors of Doctor Who in it, but like, it didn't. Like I had feared, they bit off way more than they could chew with this plot, and they didn't really resolve it very well.
Didn't land it. Did she regenerate at the end?
No, there's still a little more with her before.
Oh, okay, all right. I wasn't sure. I was going to say I don't as much as I am not into Doctor Who at the moment, I don't think I would have missed a casting or regeneration. So.
Yeah, no, we're not there yet. I think there's something like there's definitely a New Year's special coming up.
Oh, then, right.
I think there might be another couple episodes before she regenerates. I'm not positive, but yeah, I don't know. It was a good watch. I'm glad I watched it. It's the most entertained I've been by Doctor Who in a while. But it was like they kept introducing all this stuff. It was all over the map, and then like by the end of it, like 2 or 3 of the things they introduced were like, well, then why was he there? Why did you do this? This was totally unnecessary.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, it was just got a little too ahead of themselves, but still solid. Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
What the hell else did we just finish watching? We just finished watching something else. Hawkeye's been great. We've been enjoying that.
Yeah, we only did the first episode of Hawkeye so far because we watched Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which you really do have to watch. It's fucking great. It's terrible, but it's great.
God, we just finished something, and it was good, and we finished something before we went back to... Oh, Lock and Key. That was the other thing. We finished Lock and Key.
Oh, word.
Yeah, that show's great.
That is great.
Yeah.
I haven't watched nearly enough of it, but I don't watch TV, so... I don't know when any of you people have the time for any of these things.
It's just like after the kids go to bed, if I'm not recording a podcast or she doesn't have some sort of meeting or something, we can get like an episode or 2 of something in. And it's either that or we'll get 1 episode in and then I'll go play video games. And I wanted to kind of catch up on the things I've been watching. Like I've been watching Master of the Universe over my lunch breaks, like just kind of slipping it in wherever I can. And the rest of the game playing has been kind of put on hold.
Sure.
Except for, the stuff I do with the kids and whatnot. So, I mean, Mario Party, still a thing. God, we went back to Clubhouse games tonight. Like, these things are still in regular rotation. That damn game is still in regular rotation.
That's crazy.
But we bought Big Brain Academy.
Oh, nice.
It's fantastic. It was, it's only $30, and we've done that for family night a couple of times in a row, and it's just been a hoot. We can all compete at the same level, which is awesome. Like the way they parsed out the difficulty so that I can genuinely compete with Ellie with the difficulty levels with this.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. And everybody's been winning to certain things, losing other things, and it's been great. I definitely recommend that game. It's a good time if you've got a family to play it with. Like that's the whole point of it. Is there's a single player mode, obviously, but it's the whole focus of it is brain versus brain. So the whole multiplayer versus is where it's at. It's pretty good. And Mario Party's still been really fun in this specific setting. Like
I
can't believe I've come to appreciate Mario Party in my life, but there we are. I understand Mario Party now, or at least this one. I know I still didn't like a lot of the other ones we were playing before, but this new one, Superstars on Switch, is pretty solid. I'm still playing Animal Crossing every day, collecting gyroids and trying to get more art. That's pretty much it though. Like I'm not doing much more past that. Although a friend of mine, I came over to my island the other night. She was posting online that she was in desperate need of sugarcane and she couldn't find it on any of the islands. I was like, yeah, I can hook you up with that. She's like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I got plenty of it. Come on over. So she did. She came over and ran around my island, saw my golden toilet throne, and laughed, and it was fun. So that was neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did I start talking that I was playing Contra Hardcore?
God, that you might have said it a couple weeks ago. I can't remember if
it was on the show or just in the chat. But
I don't remember because we had the interview last week.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm not going to keep going.
Okay. I'm fucking done. I hate it.
I get it kind of, but it just doesn't feel like Contra to me. I'm not having fun, so I'm out. I'm just not doing it anymore. I started messing with Ristar a little bit though. That's pretty fun. That was because I finished Sonic 2 and I wanted to play something weird and colorful that I hadn't before, so I started messing with Ristar. And that's neat, but the big highlight for me this week was, so I made a video for the YouTube channel out of an old blog I wrote a couple of years ago about secret sequels, where like, you know, either this game that I love had a sequel made and I never heard of it, or this game itself was a sequel to a game I'd never heard of.
Right.
Because I always think that stuff is like super fascinating. Like, you know, Guardian Legend was actually a sequel to an MSX game called Gardic. Like, that's cool. It's weird. I was always a really big fan of this game I used to rent when I was a kid for Super Nintendo called The Twisted Tales of Spike Mcfang.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Game's great. Just loved it. It's really short, which is its only real problem. I was never able to beat it when I was a kid, like during a rental, and every time I'd get it a second time, somebody had erased all the data. And then, like, I finally bought the game myself when I was a little bit older before it spiked in value, because that game's crazy expensive now.
Yeah.
But I finally bought it, and I realized I'd almost gotten to the end, like, several times, and the game was just, like, over. I was like, aw, that sucks. But when I was writing this article a few years ago, I found out about that game was, in fact, a sequel to a TurboGrafx game, a PC Engine game, because it never came out in America. So it was PC Engine called Makai Prince Dorobachan.
Okay.
And I'd never played it because, you know, I didn't have a PC Engine or any real way to get it. And then, like, I decided to adapt this into a video, and I was like, all right, I got to start getting footage together for all this stuff. Oh my God, I have a Super SD System 3 now. So I downloaded Makai Prince Dorobachan and I started playing it. I was like, yo, this is great. It's where Spike Mcfang is a Zelda style like action RPG kind of thing, like Zelda or Illusion of Gaia or something like that. This one's a 2D platformer. So it doesn't really have any RPG elements, but you're still this, like, I don't know, it's like a kind of reminds me a lot of Kid Dracula, except better, I think, because
that game's just so damn slow.
Yeah, Kid Dracula is like, it's such a neat idea. This one is a lot. It just feels a lot more fun to play. It's similar. You're a little vampire kid, and you eat tomatoes instead of drink blood, and you fight garlic bad guys and these weird, like, butlers with giant Maui heads all over the place, which do weird things. Like, you get to a big gap, you're like, what do I do to cross this? And, like, slowly these two, like, Maui heads start floating onto the screen, and then they both fall over and meet in the middle and make a bridge for you, like, out of their heads. Okay. Or you get to this big cliff, and then all of a sudden they start flying in like really slow missiles, and they crash into the mountain, and then you use them as platforms. This game's weird as hell. I love it.
That is weird.
Oh, it's super fun. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm not done it yet. I think the farthest I've gotten is level 3, because I have no idea how to make the save states work in the Super SD System 3. I should look that up. But that's great, and that's probably the big highlight. Big Brain Academy and Makai Prince Dorobachan were the big highlights for me this week.
Well, all right then.
Yeah.
We have skipped over the most important news of the day, Chris. I don't know if you are aware of the most important news of the day, but Kevin Feige, did you see what he said today?
I mean, which thing? Are we talking about the Shang-Chi sequel, or are we talking about Charlie Cox?
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, there it is.
That's very exciting.
It is
very
exciting.
You know, I love a good Cox. And him saying that when or where it shows up, whenever Daredevil shows up, if he shows, quote unquote, if he shows up in the MCU, Spider-Man No Way Home, that it will be portrayed by Charlie Cox. Like, that basically confirms that he's in No Way Home. You are only on the first episode of Hawkeye, so I don't want to talk anymore about this. Right. Well, I've heard he might be coming, that Fisk might be involved in Hawkeye as well. Like,
I was watching the third episode, and, like, a hand touched a shoulder, and I was like, that was Vincent fuckmothering D'Onofrio. And Karen was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I gotta rewind this. Give me a second. I rewound it. I looked at it again. I was like, that is fucking Kingpin right there. And that sounds like Vincent D'Onofrio. That's who that is. And I was just like, kind of lost my mind. Of course, it's not confirmed, but come on.
It's Mephisto.
Come on.
It's Mephisto.
It's Mephisco.
Mephisco. Oh, gross. Yeah.
I'm so good at this.
You are good at this.
First the Kryptonian joke, and now this.
Oh my God, I'm just setting him up. You knock him down. You're the real star of this show, Kris.
You better call me a stack of lunch meat because I'm on a roll.
All right, you just lost it. Maybe edit that one out. Maybe don't put that one in the show.
No, you keep that. That was solid gold. Solid gold.
Man. God damn it. I can't imagine getting to a point in my life where I'm like, yeah, Mario Party is really good in this particular instance. I can't imagine what that instance is. But
oh
I don't
my
know.
God. This is where I am in life.
Yeah, no, hey. It is what it is, man. I'm trying to think. I thought there was one other thing that I played while you were talking.
Yeah,
I was like,
I cannot help but feel like I'm missing something.
I feel like I'm missing something. I mean, I played more of the show. I'm like way behind on stuff. Like I went to go, like I turned it on today and I hadn't played in like 2 weeks. And it's like, oh God, I don't even know what life is anymore. That's weird. Because just like at baseball, not only is the season over, but like they went into a lockout again. And like there hasn't been a lockout in baseball since like, I think 94 was the last one. Like the 93-94 season. I could be wrong on the exact dates, but it's like, man, I don't want to fucking sit here and pick sides between millionaires and billionaires. Fuck all of you. You know, like just play baseball. You know, you guys are going to go into a lockout and start crying poverty about shit when Max Scherzer just signed a contract at 38 years old, signed a 3-year deal for $43 million a season. Like,
what do you even do with that kind of money?
I don't even know. Like that is generational wealth on like a level that is hard to understand.
Like that's 1 year's of work will keep your grandchildren fed, you know? Like that's nuts.
And like he's really good. You know, like he's a very good pitcher. But also he's 38, you know, like you don't sign a 38-year-old to $43 million a year, and contracts in baseball are guaranteed. So it's just the whole fucking thing, you know? So I was like, I'm a little down on baseball right now, you know? Like I'm a whore, so like when baseball comes back, I'll be like, yes, everything is good and perfect and true in the world again, you know? But but for right now, I was a little bummed. So like I played a little bit more of that today and was like, God damn, like I love that game. I love that game a lot. You know, I love that game a lot. But it's a lot to keep up with. Like they're still dropping new content. Like there was just another new content drop today where like more cards came out. It was like, dear God, guys. I mean, you are getting your money's worth. You know, like you drop $60 on this game. There is $60 worth of content in there for damn sure. But I feel like there was something else.
Well, I will say, I will throw this out into the world, just for the sake of it. I'm definitely not going to be watching the Game Awards. Everything with Activision Blizzard that's happening right now is just so grotesque.
It is,
and
man.
Like, the Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, pretty much every AAA, big name company right now, I'm kind of running screaming from. Not that I did much with them anyway. Like I'm definitely not going to get the new Mario plus Rabbids game.
No.
I'm sorry if it says Ubisoft on it at this point. I'm out. Not that they already have my money, but I'm still not gonna. I'm just not gonna fuck with the Spyro or Crash collections I bought earlier in the year. Not that does anything, but it's
just the point. Yeah,
it's just the whole thing's gross. I'll get the news after it's like I'll get it secondhand afterwards. I'm not gonna see the reveals on the Game Awards. I'm just not gonna support it. And the Jeff Keighley's response to everything about the only thing we're doing with Activision Blizzard are the games that are they're not part of the show, they're not in any of the reveals or anything like that. Yeah, but they're on your fucking board.
yeah,
they're okay, neat. They're on your board. Like they're making decisions that they're part of the show, whether you say they are or not. And he was all about getting up there and being like, calling Konami out live on stage, like, yo, Konami, not treating Kojima right. It's not cool. And
but But
Okay, and I
Kojima's
get,
a
like,
dude, so like
that's
you
not
know.
what the award show is about or anything like that. But you know,
But it should be, because it's a fucking platform to put an end to this shit.
or at least just like it's so rotten. And the more I look into it, the more rotten I see that it is. And I'm glad that I like the games that I like. Because if I was a Call of Duty fan, I'd be like pretty upset about it.
Sure.
But you know, I'm glad I play the games that I play. I'm glad that, as far as I know, Nintendo does not have these shitty working conditions. Wasn't a like a big higher up at Sony just like jettisoned into the sun for being a kid toucher? Wasn't that a thing today?
Maybe. I don't even know.
It was a few hours ago. I'll see if I can find it. Like, yeah, somebody was like, it was like one of those higher ups and was like just fired on the spot. They're like, oh, you found his emails on some like child porn lists or something, and there was absolutely no fucking around. It was like, you're done, get out of here. No, scoot, can't leave fast enough.
Man, that's just man, it's so like, because that's a whole other level like of sickness. Because, like, absolutely fire that dude into the fucking sun, you know, but, like, get him some help on the way. You know what I mean? Like, because, God, it's inexcusable, but it's so far beyond acceptable, natural human progression. Like, dude obviously has some issues that need to be worked out. And, like, you know, you hope people get help to prevent these fucking things from continuing to happen. You know, I don't know, man. It's fucking, because there is just that shit that is just so inexcusable. There's no explaining that one away.
Yeah,
you know?
12 hours ago, Polygon posts PlayStation VP fired after appearing in pedophile sting video. So hey,
God damn.
Yeah, video games are nuts, man. So
yeah, it's one of those things, man, where you start to realize, like, the older you get, you know, you start to realize, like, oh, you guys are just, like, regular people. You know what I mean? Like, you're not special. You just, like, you make video games. Like, that's just your job. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a job. You're still as flawed and broken and awesome and magnanimous and all of those things that everybody else is.
yeah.
You know? It's just you happen to have a particular set of skills that, you know, I don't know. Yeah, fuck it. I am interested in the Game Awards announcements that are going to be happening, because the scuttlebutt coming out of the show is that there are at least 4, possibly more announcements that should have the size of, like, fan excitement that Elden Ring had. And, like, if that's kind of where you're marketing from, you better fucking knock that out of the park.
Yeah, you better bring it.
The big rumor that I've seen is either a remake or a new Chrono game. That's the big rumor.
A remake of Chrono Cross or something like that.
Yeah,
I'd be interested. Here's a thing that I thought that you would care about. If anything, if you were even considering looking at the Game Awards, have you looked at the nominees for the Best Sports and Racing category?
I have not, actually.
It is
surprisingly enough,
F1 2021, the absolute joke that is FIFA 22, Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels Unleashed, and Riders Republic. That's right, MLB The Show is not nominated for Best Sports Game of the Year.
I mean, it probably shouldn't be, because it's just not a competition at that point. Like, and that's not even me being a fanboy. That game is so leaps and bounds better than any other, like, and also sports and racing should just not be a category that is put together, because how do you compare, like, let's just say, taking the years out of it, how do you compare the new Madden to Horizon Chase Turbo.
You don't. Or Forza Horizon, Forza Horizon 5. Like,
not only you don't, but you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It just does not make any sense.
I mean,
like that would be like the Academy Awards
games to call it its own category, but
yeah. I mean, but there are 5 racing games that come out.
Yeah, we got to be able to find 5.
But I think what you're saying about,
it didn't stop the Daily Show from winning every year, even though it was just like, this is the Daily Show category. So there still makes it because it was still such a great show, and that's why it kept winning. Like, fine, let MLB The Show keep winning every year because it fucking deserves it,
They do. They certainly do.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird category to put together. Sports and racing games. It's like, and now the Academy Award for Best Horror and or Comedy goes to Halloween is up against Wedding Crashers. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say don't watch the Game Awards. Check out all the news afterwards. And
yeah, give Kotaku the fucking views.
Yeah.
They're cool and progressive, I think. I don't think they're problematic yet. Or Polygon. Or IGN. Sometimes. I don't know, whatever. Or check out Chris's Twitter feed.
There you go. I'm not problematic sometimes.
Most of the time. I don't know. Do we tweet news, Kris? That's not a thing we do.
No, we don't.
Maybe we should.
That sounds like fucking work to me.
It does.
All right.
Speaking of work, we got work to do, Kris.
We got work to do. We got stuff to talk about. We're going to take ourselves a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Super NES Starter Kits, where if you had $100 to spend on starting a physical Super Nintendo collection, what games would you get? The answers may surprise you. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from BK.com. Stick around.
Super Metroid, not on that.
And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up,
now.
What'd you say?
What? I said Geekade.now.
Geekade.now. .net. .edu. First up, video game conventions. We all miss them. I mean, except for the people that went to them, I suppose. But they've been slowly making their way back into the world, and the legendary Midwest. See, you see what I did there? Dairy Midwest. Gaming Classic is among them. Did you get it? It's funnier if you explain it. There's a lot of cows in the Midwest. That's where dairy comes from, I think. I don't know much about cows. This week, the Weekend Rental crew recounts their trip to this gaming mecca in Milwaukee and discusses all the wonderful and exciting things they saw there. How did it go? Find out in Weekend Rental episode 113, The Gamers Revisit a Classic.
Next on an all-new Stone Age Countdown, I spent some time, like I said, revisiting one of my favorite topics, hidden game lineages. It's always quite a thrill to discover that a game you love is actually part of a series, or some sort of cult favorite got itself a sequel you've never heard of. So I assembled a list of my favorite times this has happened to me. Head on over to the Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel and check out Stone Age Countdown, Top 5 Secret Sequels.
Finally, Kris, I pose a question to you, and to you, the listener. What is better than Pocky?
Oh, Pop Rocks.
No. Incorrect. Pocky and Rocky, Kris. It's the answer.
I was going to say Pocky and Commando. No, that's Schwarzenegger. I fucked it up. Oh, boy, waffles. I fucked it up.
Yeah, I mean, that too, obviously. But Pocky and Rocky, I set it right up there for you.
There's a great outtake from Mystery Science Theater where Joel walks out with a plate of pancakes and he just says, oh, boy, waffles. Oh, I fucked it up.
That's pretty funny. Back on track, Kris. Come on, man. Pocky and Rocky. Greg and Joe were joined by guest Alex to talk about one of his favorite shooters on the SNES, the aforementioned Pocky and Rocky. This obscure Natsume game, licensed from Taito, allows you to play the role of either Shrine Maiden Pocky or Squirrel Rocky as you blast through 6 stages a la Commando or Akari Warriors to stop an evil force. Don't miss the SNES podcast, episode 177, Pocky and Rocky. I really fucking like Commando and Akari Warriors, by the way.
I have never played the arcade version of Akari Warriors.
It's good.
I've come to understand is like, because the NES one's like garbage.
Yeah, I like it
the
though.
arcade one's great.
Yeah. I don't know why I like it. I like that vertical scrolling shooter.
I love that kind of
stuff.
game. Like Guerrilla War is freaking great. Commando, absolutely wonderful. Commando has a
The Ninja?
surprisingly good Atari 2600 port of Commando.
Really?
That's crazy. Yeah. Surprisingly good port of that game on 2600. It's nuts. Anyway, for all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com.
Geekade.app.
All right, folks, we are back. It's time for the Super NES Starter Kit. We love doing these things. We're doing them once a month where we pick a platform. We give a budget of $100 to choose physical media to start a collection of a specific platform. Now, we assume that you have the platform and whatever accessories needed to play these games already. It's just which games. That's it. So Dan and I did Super Nintendo this month, and I'm very excited to see what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm excited to see your list too, because this is a hard list, man.
It is. Some of the, I mean, there's so much good stuff on Super Nintendo, but a lot of the really good stuff is just immediately priced out.
Yeah, just prohibitively expensive. Like, spoilers for my list, Super Metroid's not on it.
Yeah, same
Super
here.
Castlevania 4, I don't know that it would make it on it, but it was completely taken out of contention regardless.
Yeah,
because of the price.
Didn't even think about either of those. Like they
Nope.
just didn't even make the maybe pile because that's how out of control they were.
Yeah. So, all right, I think I started last time. So if you would like to start us off, sir, what do you got?
All right. So one of the things I wanted to try and do with this list was think of things that were uniquely Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, I think I failed at this, but this one in particular, I mean, in a manner of speaking, but this one in particular is, a game that was only ever on Super Nintendo. It's never been ported to anything else. And that's because it required an accessory to play it. It's also one of the cheapest games on the platform, which I find hilarious because the game's really, really cool. It's very fun to play on original hardware, and that would be $5 Battle Clash.
All right. Thought about it. Didn't make mine, but thought about it.
Battle Clash, you know what? And this was one of those things where, like, I didn't start at the cheap list and start figuring out what are the cheap lists to, like, put in this list. This was one of the first things that came to my mind of, like, that's got to go on there. This game is so uniquely Super Nintendo. It's like, it's kind of like, it's very Punch-Out-esque, except with, like, these giant robots and, like, shooting the giant robots instead of boxing with them. And it's got a great personality, awesome graphics, killer music, and the Super Scope just makes it such an intense game because the whole time you're looking through this little scope. And part of the game, like when you're just watching a playthrough of it, it looks easier than it is because when you're watching a playthrough of it, you see the whole screen. But when you're looking through the scope, you don't see the whole screen, and the robots you're fighting are constantly flying around. So like sometimes you'll catch up to them and they'll just always be in front of you, but then sometimes they'll like turn around and like the camera is showing you your robot trying to chase after this other robot. So like the directional change and your robot will be behind it because your pilot is like trying to catch up with the robot that you're trying to blow up. It's freaking outstanding. It's such a cool game. It's pretty short, but it's a light gun game. Those aren't typically terribly long. And it is uniquely Super Nintendo, and it's just a wonderful game. It has a really cool sequel too that I think is also super cheap, but that didn't make my list. I'd definitely go with the original Battle Clash for $5 and, a Super Scope, which I think costs a lot more, but we're assuming you have all of the accessories in this little situation here. So Battle Clash it is.
Yeah, I really thought about that one, but it just didn't make the cut. I'm pretty happy with my list overall, though, I think. So the first game that I have on my list, jumping all the way down to the letter D at 15 whole dollars rounded, I forget which way, either up or down, doesn't really matter. $15 rounded off for Donkey Kong Country 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so...
You said that was how much?
15.
15. Oh my
goodness. For
goodness.
The player's choice version?
I did not even consider that.
Let me go back to alphabetical here on price charting. Let me see here. Donkey Kong Country 2. No, now it's up to 22 today. It was 15 yesterday. There was a different version of it that I saw. I thought it was like Player's Choice.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 2 Player's Choice, $14.99. Look at that.
14. There you go. Okay, that's what it is. It's still 14.
Never even considered it.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about. I
just saw it at $23. It was like I love the Donkey Kong Country games, but no, I can't do it. I have other things that I need to do. Damn.
Yeah, and Donkey Kong Country 2 is outstanding. It
really is.
It's just a really, really solid platformer. And like you said, I tried to hit some, what are some, Super Nintendo, some quintessential Super Nintendo things this time around. And the Donkey Kong Country series of games is one of those series that is so identifiably Nintendo and was such a big, important, stinking deal at the time. I don't think it can be overstated just how important and impressive it was.
Absolutely.
I mean, my God, man, that first Donkey Kong Country, that comes out and you're just like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. This is just the best thing that I have ever seen. And then the sequels got even better. This one did. This one I think got better.
Country 2 is arguably better. I still prefer the first game, but I understand the thought that Country 2 does things that are certainly better.
And it looked a little cleaner. Still obviously the same graphical tricks that they were pulling.
Yeah,
but they
it did
improved
have some
those.
really cool looking effects, great backgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
amazing
great
soundtrack.
Music. Yeah, just
Country
solid,
3, however,
solid.
Country 3 was... I don't like Donkey Kong Country 3. I want to, but I don't.
Sure. that's a fair...
Country 1 and 2, damn solid.
You really can't go wrong, man. Really can't go wrong. And at $15...
Yeah, $15, that is really good. And I'm looking at my list and trying to decide if I want to change my $15 game to this, but I don't. I do, but I don't. And I have a reason why, which I'll explain when I get to it.
All right.
The original Donkey Kong Country Player's Choice is at 22.
Yeah, I almost made it.
That's
but
actually
I was like,
more expensive than the regular one. 21 is the regular one.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I kind of
those,
waffled back and forth of one or two, but because I could have taken I have a $4 game on here. I was like, all right, I could have taken the $4 game off and fit, another $5 in here, $4 or $5 somewhere, but no, I'm sticking with 2 because it's great. 2's great.
It's great. That's an excellent choice. All right. Okay, well, my next one, I'm going to skip a bunch of letters too here. And this was a really tough choice. This is a really tough choice because Super Nintendo was known for some excellent fighting games. And
yeah,
Street Fighter in particular is a really big deal on Super Nintendo. But my choices were between this game, Mortal Kombat 2, and Street Fighter 2. Mortal Kombat 2, they're all $16. Mortal Kombat 2 is the first one to bite it, because as much as I love that game, and I do, it doesn't quite stack up to Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Right.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo is a phenomenal game, but there are better ways to play Street Fighter in the world now. So for $16, I went with Killer Instinct.
Also on my list.
It is not a better fighting game.
No, not on my list. Was going to be on my list. Just missed it.
It's a tough call. And it's not a better game than Street Fighter 2 Turbo. However, it is quintessentially Super Nintendo, especially this version of this game. It was different enough from the arcade one just because of the power of the Super Nintendo. It's super impressive. It's very playable. It's really neat looking and sounding. It is outstanding. And while it isn't ultimately as good a fighting game as Street Fighter 2 Turbo, because this specific version of Killer Instinct is only on Super Nintendo, it is a quintessential Super Nintendo game. And I felt that was the important... I'm going to represent fighting games, which you just have to for Super Nintendo, because Super Nintendo was such a powerhouse for great fighting games because its controller had 6 buttons built in. I had to go with Killer Instinct. Love it. Black cartridge, super cool.
It's great, man. It just made my list, or just missed my list. I mean, for one of the other games that you mentioned, which I don't think will be a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, probably.
The next game on my list, however, though, is because fighting games absolutely had to be represented on a Super Nintendo list. I also felt like shooters had to be represented. And for $13, Gradius 3 is an outstanding value. Now, a lot of the shooters on these older systems suffered from slowdown.
Gradius 3 in particular.
Gradius 3's got a bunch of it.
Yeah,
but
the bubble stage.
But
eesh.
One of the beauties of these older platforms was learning to play within the limitations of what was capable, right? Of what the systems were capable of. So you learn to play these games with their flaws, which I think is an interesting way to go about it. Is it the best way to play Gradius 3? Absolutely not. But I wanted a shooter on there, and this was the one that fit my budget.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of options. I really wanted to put UN Squadron on here, but that game's too damn pricey.
It's just too much, right? And I happen to really like the Gradius series. I've always really, really enjoyed those games. And slowdown with this game, yes, it is atrocious in certain spots. In other spots, it's not even a thing. So, if you can get past some slowdown and learn to play the game with it, you will have a good time, because Gradius is awesome.
See, now, if I was going to go with a scrolling shooter for the Super Nintendo at that budget, I was looking at Super R-Type, which clocked in at $13.
I thought about Super R-Type too. I waffled, and honestly, 6 in one, half dozen in the other, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. I like Super R-Type for Super Nintendo better than Gradius 3 because Gradius 3 is so slowdown heavy.
It is, yeah.
That's a Raiden Trad. That was 20. Yeah, that's a no-go.
Yeah, and I had Super R-Type when I made my list yesterday and checked it again this afternoon when I got home. Super R-Type was at 15. So,
yeah. I mean, UN Squadron's, as far as I'm concerned, like the best shooter ever. That's the one, but it's $30.
Yeah, just there wasn't room for it.
It's a lot of bucks.
Yeah, not on this list anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, I could have taken Donkey Kong Country 2 and Gradius 3 off of and my $4 game and then fit it on there, but yeah, I don't think that would be the best use of your money.
It's not the right way to go. All right, I got to assume this one made your list because it's unavoidable. It was easily the most expensive one on my list. That's coming in at $27, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past.
I had it at 28, but yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's got to be there. It's the thing.
It has to be there.
It's
I'm
so
surprised
playable.
it's as much as it is.
I mean, I'm not. It's a Zelda game, and it's legendary.
But everybody had it. Like, it's just not
it is a
it's
common
not
game.
rare.
Yeah, it's a common game, and it's on everything. You can play it all kinds of ways. It's been on Virtual Console, it's been on Game Boy Advance, it's currently part of Nintendo Switch Online, but it's also such a Super Nintendo game.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Super Nintendo game. What's the player's choice version of this looking at?
I believe it was more.
Oh, $32. Seriously.
Yeah. It really does. It really does surprise me, though. I think that's one of the things that I have found really interesting going through and doing this particular list show that we're doing, is just how much money common shit goes for. Like, the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is not a rare game.
It's not. It never even went out of print, I don't think.
No.
I think that was just like consistently available for Super Nintendo. That game's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Like you said, it's playable everywhere on everything. And yet still.
I mean, not that $27 is breaking the bank. Like,
it's not, but it's just really surprising. Coming from the world of comparing video game collecting to other collecting, it's very strange because the common examples of things like the death of Superman, I would argue, is something that they wanted to be as important for comic books as Zelda was for video games. Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Does that seem like a fair comparison?
Yeah.
Okay. That book you can get for $0.25 because it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it was everywhere. It was as ubiquitous as A Link to the Past. And that book is worth nothing. I've got a copy of The Death of Superman still in the black bag with the bloody S, and the fucking Rebirth of Superman in the white bag hanging on my wall right now, and they are not even worth the paper they were printed on. Legitimately not even worth that much. Yet video games have somehow held their it's just very strange to me. I don't know. But it's fucking Link to the Past. It has to be on your list. Especially when you can't afford Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have it on there. So yeah, $28. That was the next on my list. So I'm going to jump down to my $4 game because I had $4 left over when I was done. And that would be Madden 94. Because
$4.
Yeah, it was $4. It was $4. It's the first year that it was officially licensed. So it was the first year with the actual NFL teams in there. And it's actually like, it's a really fun retro style football game. You know, so they did this thing where you could flip the plays, which didn't actually give you any more plays. It just took the plays that you already had and reversed them, but it felt like more plays. So it was like, oh God, this game is huge and there's so much strategy and whatever. And it played really well. It was fun. Like, it was just a really, really fun football game. It wasn't very serious, you know, the way we look at sports games now, where it's like, this is the most serious thing ever, and we spend billions of dollars researching every little thing. And I was like, no, this is a fucking fun football game. And every now and again, a little digital John Madden would be like, pow! It's like, what? What the fuck? That's awesome. Love it.
All right, so I'm going to give you this opportunity. I want to see if you want to take it.
Okay.
A Link to the Past, I just double checked. It is at $27 right now, not $28.
Okay.
Super Bases Loaded is $5.
It is.
You could swap Madden for Super Bases Loaded and still be in budget.
I could. I'm sticking with Madden.
Sticking to your guns. All right, cool.
I'm sticking with Madden.
Wanted to make sure you were available, that the game featuring the hit baseball team, the Atlanta Amoebas, is available to you.
I like Super Bases
I
Loaded.
love Super Bases Loaded.
I understand why some people might not.
Oh, it's not great. It's a cheap ass old baseball. I love old baseball games.
I do too. Like, I feel like once we got to this level, 1994, we were really starting to get like, all right, granted, like and I'm kind of flying in the face of what I just said of like, this isn't the most serious representation of football, but it was a little bit more of like, yeah, okay, this is a little bit more true to the sport, Yeah.
I
don't know. Yeah, I'm sticking with Madden.
Okay. All right. That brings me to my letter M. And I think this is a really excellent value at a whopping $7. I think it is also a quintessential Super Nintendo game that I literally cannot believe was never ported to either Wii U or DS or 3DS.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Mario Paint for $7. Yep. How have you not put this on every platform since?
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's just referenced like crazy in Mario Maker. Mario Maker is basically using a Mario Paint AI UI.
Yeah.
Mario Paint's great. What a great game. I've spent hours upon hours drawing and animating and composing music.
Yeah.
Freaking love Mario Paint. I cannot believe it was never put on the touchscreen systems. I cannot believe it. It's insane to me.
And this is another thing where video game collecting doesn't make any sense. How is A Link to the Past $28 and Mario Paint is $7? Which of those was more rare?
I don't think either of them. I mean, I guess technically Mario Paint, but that game's also everywhere. But that's the thing. I don't ever no. Everybody loves Mario Paint too. But I guess it's just that Link of the Past has that notoriety. I don't know. Mario Paint's great.
Doesn't make any sense. Mario Paint just missed my list. Just missed it.
Well, what didn't just miss your list there, sir? What's next for you?
At $16, Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
There it is. Damn fine game. It was choosing between KI, MK2, and Street Fighter 2 is like, damn. Because like that was the version of Mortal Kombat 2 to play. Everyone loved the first game on Genesis because it had all the blood, but both the Genesis and Super Nintendo ones kind of played like trash.
Yeah,
I like the way the Super Nintendo one plays a little bit better, but missing the blood was kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
the Genesis one had the blood and the fatalities, but it kind of played like trash. So MK2 though, MK2 was all right on Genesis, but it was awesome on Super Nintendo.
Oh, it was great. It was
Could not believe the step up they took on that game for Super Nintendo, and it's such a fun game. Mortal Kombat 2
arcade rules. Perfect, man.
Damn near. And then you get just Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Like Super Street Fighter 2's got the more characters, but there's something just right about Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That was the one that was the sweet spot. That game was amazing. And I love Super. Definitely love Super. I love it too. And I love World Warrior, but Turbo was the right one. It was just right there in the middle. Just absolutely nailed it. And like I said, the only reason I went with KI was because of how intrinsically Super Nintendo it was, as opposed to there being better ways to play Street Fighter 2 Turbo in the world. But yeah, dude, great pick. Wonderful.
I mean, like you said, I went back and forth between these two as well. I was like, man, is it going to be Killer Instinct or is it going to be Street Fighter 2 Turbo? And at the end of the day, I just like Street Fighter better as a game. I just think it's a better game. I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I love Killer Instinct. I love Killer Instinct. Great. I played so much Killer Instinct, like pulling off the fucking 80-something odd hit combos and whatnot was just so cool. And the announcer just combo breaker is fucking, oh god, it was just and it's so 90s and it's all of those things, but I just like Street Fighter 2 better. Like at the end of the day, I just like it better.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think there's really a wrong answer there, but it was a tough call to make.
It is.
All right, so this next one is I'm going to stand by it and I'm going to give you my reasons for it. This is also $15, just like Donkey Kong Country 2, and I do believe in my heart of hearts that Donkey Kong Country 2 is the better game. However, this game shows off one of the defining traits of the Super Nintendo in a wonderful, gorgeous way, and I still think it is extraordinarily playable today because I frequently play it today, and that would be Pilot Wings for $15. Pilot Wings is an outstanding showcase of the Mode 7 effect, which was one of the Super Nintendo's defining traits. And I really wanted to also have F-Zero on here, another great showcase for Mode 7. But I went with a different racing game later down the list that was a little bit cheaper. So I kept Pilot Wings as the showcase for what Mode 7 was capable of. And I just freaking love that game.
It's really good. It's really good. It was on my my just missed list as well. Like, it's a weird game. It's a weird game. It was a weird launch title. You know, like,
I think what makes it weird is the helicopter missions. Like, all right, flight school. Your flight teachers have been kidnapped. We need you to save them from a terrorist organization.
This is what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's a weird fucking game. I don't know who this game is for.
It's for me.
You know, I mean, sure. I suppose it was.
I mean, I guess that's the thing. You're not gonna get. It is a unique thing. It's a flight simulator. You know, it's a skill, almost arcadey type of thing where you're trying to get points and qualify for the next rocket belt stage where you're flying through all these rings. It is a totally unique game, and I love it for that. I love its music. I love the crazy Mode 7 effects. And I think it's really fun to play. I love playing this game. Yeah.
No, I think it's really great too. It's one of those games that, like, you know, going back and looking at it, it's like, man, this is super weird. This is a thing they did. And
I love that they did it too.
So that it's never been anywhere else, right?
What, Pilot Wings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been on the virtual consoles. It's currently on Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. I don't fucking pay attention then.
Oh, man. Playing Pilot Wings with the rewind feature is great because you can, like, always get the bonus stages. Like, I fucking missed. Let me rewind a little bit. There we go. Now I
didn't.
Now I can be the penguin high diving off of a giant board into a pool. Get those 150 points or whatever. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. All right, fair. All right, so this is one of the ones where I think, I don't know if you're going to disagree with me or not, and I'm surprised that I put this on my list, but I felt like it needed to be there at $15. I felt like Super Mario All-Stars was a worthwhile addition.
Really?
Not Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. That one was too expensive.
Yeah.
And Super Mario World by itself, also too expensive. But the collection of, you know, Mario 1, 2, and 3 and the Lost Levels being one of those... the Lost Levels is what really pushed this over the edge for me of, like, yes, I feel like this is something that should be included. Because it was one of the first times that I can remember. I don't know if it was the first time it ever happened. But it might have been just because of the way the timeline works out here, is that this was a company being like, oh, so here was this thing that was exclusive to a different country. You guys never saw this. It's totally different. And we're going to put out like a remastered greatest hits collection. And we're going to include this bonus thing as well. So like, if you're new to video games, like this is what a really cool thing that they did. I thought, you know,
no, I mean, you kidding me? The Mario All-Stars was like life altering for me, man.
Yeah.
That was insane.
And the graphical upgrades I think are really cool. The sound upgrades, you know, like everything sounds a little better. Everything looks a little better. I felt like because of that, it played a little better. At $15, it's also another way to squeeze 4 games on there, you know, just kind of cheating and being a size queen.
Wow, 15. It's 18 now. That's what I saw.
Oof. Yeah, I saw 15. And again, this might have been like a player's choice version or something.
Player's choice is at $20.44.
Well, it was 15 yesterday, so so that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, $15, Super Mario All-Stars. Solid choice, I felt.
I mean, the Nintendo Selects version for Wii is $16.80, but even that, I mean, yeah, like, I get what you're saying, and Mario All-Stars is brilliant, and it was definitely on my short list. But I went the other route, and I chose for $18 Super Mario World.
Yeah, I get that.
Because, I mean, you know me personally. First off, it's the pack-in title for the Super Nintendo. I think it's the best 2D Mario game. It just has so much freaking content. And as much as I love All-Stars, I don't love All-Stars' treatment of Mario 3. And Mario World, it's just one of the most perfect games I've ever played. I love Mario World. And I go back to that one more than I go back to the Mario All-Stars games. Even though I love them, I really do. Super great value for $18. Probably a better value overall because it's 1, 2, 3 in the Lost Levels. It's a hell of a package. But to me, Super Mario World is like, that's the Super Nintendo Mario game. And it's amazing. It's so much fun.
You can't really argue with it either way, I don't think. You know, like, it, depending on the day you buy it, depending on the price of that day, if you got $100 and you could waffle between those two, you're getting good stuff either way. As much as I may not love those games the way that other people do, I cannot sit here and be like, no, those suck.
No,
you know, like
you shouldn't bother with a Mario game for your Super Nintendo. Like, no, of course you do.
Yeah, it's just factually inaccurate. So
now I wonder if either of us is going to include Super Mario 64 when we get to N64.
Man, it really depends on the price, because again, you know, like $18 for Super Mario World, like that game was with every fucking system that's sold.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring up when we were talking about common games like being worth a couple of dollars. Like $18 for Mario World, it's worth it. It totally is. It's worth it as a game. Just like you'll get that much money's worth out of joy from playing that game, but it's freaking everywhere. There is nothing. The only thing that I see is genuinely uncommon about Super Mario World is when you find a complete copy, because that's genuinely rare, finding a non-player's choice version of Super Mario World in the box, because they didn't come in a box. Sure. How many people just bought Super Mario World and didn't get it packed in with the system? Not many. There's not a lot of copies of Super Mario World in the box out there. So that I get. But the cart itself, come on,
doesn't make any sense to me, man.
It's insane.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense to me. But
okay, what's your last one there, Size Queen?
All right, last one I have. I wanted to get a puzzle game on here. It's a puzzle game that I like.
Okay,
I think more than other people do. And that would be for $9, I believe. Yep, $9 was Tetris 2.
Tetris 2 just barely didn't make my list.
It's a weird game because, when you hear Tetris, this ain't it. This is very different.
Yeah, it's more Dr. Mario than Tetris, but
yeah, this is the version of Dr. Mario that I like.
Though, specifically the Super Nintendo version of Tetris 2 is outstanding.
It's a great game.
A neat look where like the whole thing's inside of a living room and like someone's house, and like the 2-player games and a pair of fish tanks. It's awesome.
It's very cool
too. Oh, that puzzle mode is great.
Well,
they give you like you've got this many pieces to figure out how to clear the board. Oh, genius.
Well, and just the fact that you take something you like, because what do you do with Tetris? Right, it's perfect. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like Tetris is in and of itself, the core game of Tetris is a perfect game. It may not be your favorite game, but I don't think it's arguable that it is a perfectly executed concept. So how do you make a sequel to the most popular game of all time? You go in a completely different fucking direction. And you still make something really, really awesome. And man, did they just nail it with this. This is just as addicting and awesome and fun and all of those things that the original Tetris is, but it's different. And
it's a very different kind of a thing, but it's definitely a Tetris sequel, you know?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It was $9. Gotta have it.
for my last pick, it really came down to that one or the one I went with. And I felt that having a racing game was more important than having a puzzle game. For this,
I broke my heart
system.
to not put fucking F-Zero on the list. Really did.
As did I. But it made it a lot easier because I could put Top Gear on for $11. The original Top Gear is an awesome racing game for Super Nintendo. It doesn't use Mode 7, but it still looks great. It's got fantastic music. It is a super fun game. It is effectively the precursor to Horizon Chase Turbo, a game that I love to death. And while it's not F-Zero, I do think it is a overall better racing game. The original F-Zero is a bit limited because of its age. It was a launch title. Yeah, there's only single player in it. It's a fantastic game.
The original F-Zero is way cooler in your mind than actually playing it.
I wouldn't say way cooler. It's definitely cooler in your mind. I don't know about way cooler. It's close. But
yeah, I feel confident in way cooler. I do.
But for a couple of bucks left, I had to go with Top Gear because I love that game.
Yeah, solid pick, man. Solid pick. And like again, looking at this list, how do you make a Super Nintendo list and don't put Super Metroid on there and don't put Super Castlevania on there?
No RPGs, really?
No RPGs, but God, look at the price. Chrono Trigger's $200 and something fucking dollars for a loose cart. That's absurd.
I mean, what are we gonna? We could go Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, I think, but even that one's expensive, right?
Even that's pretty expensive, and that
Mystic
it's
Quest
good, but
it's $15. But at that point, what was the stuff that you skipped? What were the games that you skipped? I'm really curious which ones just didn't make your list.
Man, I had a whole bunch of stuff. So obviously the stuff like F-Zero that we talked about, Killer Instinct for me. Mario Paint, Pilot Wings, a bunch of that stuff. Star Fox at $17.
Yeah, Star Fox was a close one for me. I had it at 16, and I really wanted to get the FX chip in there because
so quintessentially Nintendo.
It came down to after I had decided I was going to do Top Gear instead of F-Zero. It's all right, do I do Pilot Wings or do I do Star Fox? What's more important to show off, FX or Mode 7?
Right.
I leaned into Mode 7 a little bit more, but I'm not sold that that's the right choice because Star Fox is so good. Is that a better game than Pilot Wings? I don't know, probably, but I love them both. It's a tough choice.
Super Punch Out, I really love, but $30.
Yes. Exactly, so $30.
Just too much. Warriors Woods was 15. Considered that. I considered Ultraman because I'm me.
Because you're you.
Nobody
you recommend that to somebody.
But I can't. I can't recommend that to anybody. Unless you're me. If I was recommending this list to me, I would buy Ultraman. Super Star Wars almost made the cut at 13. And all of them were about that. Super Star Wars, Super Return, and Super Empire were 13, 16, 15, whatever. Fucking Lion King and Aladdin I considered. The one I actually legitimately really, really considered, but there's no way it's the same price as Turbo, but I could not put Clay Fighter on this list over Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
No, you could not.
I want to, in my soul, I want to, because it's just more personal for me. Clay Fighter was one of the last presents that I received from my dad. You know what I mean? So it's there's a lot of emotion packed in there. And I really love Clay Fighter. It was so weird and quirky and awful and great and all of those things. It's just a terrible, wonderful mess of a fighting game. And I love it to pieces. But I can't legitimately put Clay Fighter over Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah, you just can't.
Oh, man. There's so much on here that's so close. Super Off-Road's $12. I love Super Off-Road.
Yeah, that's a good one.
$12, that's really great. I could have taken, Mario off and put something else on there. I also had Pitfall the Mayan Adventure, because my cousin and I played the shit out of that. But again, that's like an Ultraman thing. Like if I was recommending this to me, you know, I'd say Pitfall the Mayan Adventure, but it's not great. But it's $9. You know,
it's a pretty cool game, but it's not.
I like it,
not
but it
enough
doesn't
to knock anything else off the list.
Just doesn't make the list. Star Fox and Mario Paint, I think, were the hardest ones to cut, and they're not games that I love dearly, but you know, I'm happy with my list overall.
I think you came up with a pretty good list. I mean, let's see, the stuff that I that really hurt me to cut. I really wanted to put Arkanoid Do It Again on there. For $18, because it's a great version of Arkanoid, and you're playing it with the Super NES mouse. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and worked really well.
It did extremely well, and the game even had a 2-player mode, which is great.
Yeah,
I wanted to put Illusion of Gaia on my list, but it was $31.
Yep.
Illusion of Gaia is great. Kind of wanted to go with Cool Spot. It's $20.
Yeah, it's not a $20 game. Not on this list, anyway.
Not on this list. Same one for Super Adventure Island at $16.
Yep.
Jurassic Park for $11. That stayed on the list for quite a while, and then I just eventually had to be like, all right, I'm sorry. I love the game, but no.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
it's pretty great.
I also had Tetris 2, and the last one, another really hard cut for me was SimCity.
Yeah, that's a list for you though. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, like SimCity was such a big get back when when it first came out. Like that was a huge deal, and it's a weird like Nintendo specific version of SimCity. It's such a great game, and it's such a great version of a great all-time classic, and it's only $12. But just the idea of having that on there in place, like what I couldn't think of anything that I would take off to replace with SimCity. Same thing went for Tin Star at $12. Like, yeah, that's another really cool point and shoot kind of adventure game, really unique. But it's also, it's $12. Where do I pull the $12 from? It's not a better game than Top Gear, and I already have a target shooting game in the form of Battle Clash for all of $5. So
yeah, and Battle Clash is just so cool.
It is. So Tin Star unfortunately didn't make the cut, but it's another game I absolutely love. And you're right, Super Punch Out,
Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, looking at this list, I just pulled it back up and looking at some of the stuff that's on here, like the Super Nintendo prices, the Castlevania Dracula X, $330. It's Mega Man 7, $250. Chrono Triggers, $210. Like some of these games that you really, these are games that you want to have on your in your Super Nintendo collection are prohibitively expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Even, like Sparkster. Sparkster is a cool game. It's $157. Is Final Fight 3 $150? Like, I mean, we're talking loose, man.
Yeah.
That is absurd. Super Adventure Island 2 is $105.
That's bananas.
That's insanity. Super Mario RPG, $75. Super Metroid, $75.
That's like that's almost all of your budget. Which is, this is funny to me. I'm looking at the
Turtles in Time is $64.
I just arranged them from price, like highest to lowest on price charting.
Yeah.
And like you have all the competition carts, of course, those are going to be insane. But like then you get down to like the most expensive
regular
games, and like I actually have most of these, and it's nuts. Like, Hagane, the Final Conflict at $962. I have that complete, which is currently priced at $24.53. Like, what the hell? Aero Fighters right underneath it at $840 loose. And you got a couple of not for resale stuff. Final Fight Guy, I actually did a trade for that one not that long ago.
But like, you did not spend $5,000 on Hagane, Aero Fighters, and Final Fight Guy.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
No, you did not.
I got those at as part of a collection, and then Final Fight Guy I traded a copy of Albert Odyssey for Sega Saturn, complete, for a loose copy of Final Fight Guy that I got a nice repro box for.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Metal
just
Warriors. Geez, Earthbound. Love Earthbound. $357. You said Dracula X.
There's absurd prices.
Super Turrican 2.
And even basics. Final Fantasy 3, $67. Absurd prices on this stuff now. Absurd prices.
Super Nintendo is it's a collectible system, man. God, then you look at shit like Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. That's awful. It's $185.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's
True
awful.
Lies is $50, Chris.
Why?
If you spend $50 on the True Lies game, you are way more well off than I am, but you also need to donate to charity instead.
Oh, there's Spike McFang. It's sitting at $171.
Crazy.
That game's great, but holy crow.
It's not that good.
Don't do that.
I mean, there are
shit,
absurd.
Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that game's always been expensive because it was a late Super Nintendo game. There's not a ton of them out there, but still, $150. Freaking
Absurd.
Yikes.
Absurd prices. Goddamn.
Well,
all right, Chris.
Give me Super 3D Noah's Ark. Look at you. You're sitting at $131. Good for you, Super 3D Noah's Ark. I have that game.
Give me your rundown.
Fucking weird ass game. All right. $5 Battle Clash, 16 Killer Instinct, 27 A Link to the Past, Mario Paint 7, Pilot Wings 15, Super Mario World 18, and Top Gear 11 for a total of $99. There are no $1 games on the Super Nintendo.
No, there are not. And I had for a total of $100 Donkey Kong Country 2 at 15, Gradius 3 at 13, Link to the Past at 28, Madden 94 at 4, Street Fighter 2 Turbo at 16, Super Mario All-Stars at 15, and Tetris 2 at $9 whole.
An excellent setup.
Yeah, good list. I think
this
if
one
you
better than I
spent
thought.
that money, if you spent that money on either one of our lists, I think you'd be a pretty happy camper.
Yeah, it's a nice selection of games.
I don't know if you'd be a happy gamer because you'd be camping and there's not a lot of electricity in the wild, but you would be one of those things.
You do a little backyard camping.
Well, backyard.
Run an extension cord out there.
Now, next month.
Yeah, what's our next one?
Starting in January, we are going into the Game Boy Color specifically.
Ooh, Color.
Specifically Game Boy Color. And there is, again, some absurd prices on some of this stuff. But this is going to be a really interesting list, I think, because there's a lot that is affordable, and there's a couple of different ways to go with this. Do you go with one big one and fill in with some little guys? I don't know. This will be an interesting one to go with.
Yeah, I'm curious about that one. Also, because the library is pretty weird. Because you've got Game Boy Color games that were like also the ones that are the black cartridges, and then you got the exclusive Game Boy Color ones that are only for the color. Which I assume we're going to fit both of those into that category because Game Boy Color is Game Boy Color.
Right.
But, yeah.
And, which version of Hamtaro is going to be on your list? Because one of them is going to be on there.
Oh, man. I just have to look at something real quick. And this is going to break my heart because there's no way it's going to be affordable.
It's probably at the top of your list.
Where are you? Oh, because that's all written as one word. There you are. Oh, yeah. Nah, damn. Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Nope. Can't be on there. $90.
$90 loose. What a shame. That's like, you just want to talk about the flagship Game Boy Color game, man.
Yeah.
That game's great.
It is great, but it's $90. Can't do it. You got That's
There's
one of the
too
big
much
ones.
Other stuff to hit. There's too many other games you got to hit.
You've got whatchamacallit, Resident Evil Gaiden, 140. Oof. That's big.
Street Fighter Alpha's $39. No.
Yeah.
What a great game for Game Boy Color. I really wanted to include that. No, I can't. Oh, man, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Game Boy Color stuff got like shot up there so much. That's nuts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because you do have some, like, there's some decent stuff down at the lower end of the spectrum. You know, like Battleship. It's a weird suggestion, but some of those versions that they were coming out with of the board games on the Game Boy Color were like really fun. And like Battleship's $5. You know what I mean? Like that might make my list, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's going to be fun. All right. Looking forward to that. Okay. Well, let's wrap this shit up, huh?
All right. Yeah. Again, nice and short episode.
Nice and short. All right, guys. That's our show. Join us next week when Dan and I... did I write this? What is this? Oh, yeah. Join us next week when Dan and I will be doing a special not at all related to video game episode counting down our favorite Christmas songs for Dan's request.
God, I'm so excited.
I am too. I have some really fun stuff to share. We're still not 100% sure how we're doing it. I have a couple of suggestions. It's gonna be fun. We're just we're dropping the pretense. We're just gonna talk about Christmas songs. Don't worry, there will be some video game songs in there because I'm me. But
because you're you. But man, I adore Christmas music. I love it. I love it to pieces. I'm really interested to see where your list goes because I think my list definitely skews a little bit more non-traditional, but also with some traditional stuff mixed in. I don't know. I'm really curious to see where it goes, and I think this will be really fun for you guys, for the listeners, right? We want to hear your top 10 Christmas songs list.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like because I mean, I say there's no wrong answers. There's a couple of wrong answers because I am 100% confident in my number one. Number one is without question. But
all right, I have a number one that is my favorite. So I don't think it'll be yours, but it's definitely mine. So
I can 100% assure you that it will not be the same one. This is. As much as we have in common, this is one of the areas where we are just vastly, vastly different.
All right.
So, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously Dominic the Italian Donkey, right? That's your number one.
Yeah.
That's one of the few Christmas songs I fucking hate. But anyway, it's a whole other thing.
That's going to be all 10 of my choices.
I'm going to make you listen to that song 10 times in a fucking row.
We are on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, which is running flash sales. Like, what is just this afternoon, Ryan told me. They're doing like individual flash sales. And we've got a timer. He put a freaking timer on the site, which is super cool. You click on the item, it tells you exactly how many seconds it's still available for sale.
Oh, no. That's harsh, man.
I love it. It's because you got to like throw a couple of items on there different times and be like, all right, this one's going up for 72 hours. And like, this is how much time is left before it goes off sale. All right. I think it's neat. Yeah. That's happening. Anyway, the Geekade Patreon, which helps keep this show running week after week.
Apparently. That's inside. That's all right. That's fine.
And
theoretically, maybe, kind of. We'll see.
More useful links than you can shake a joystick at. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie, who that was the most important video game thing that happened to me this week. Ollie covered another Lemmings song, and I cannot stop listening to it. It is the most wonderfully perfect thing ever. I love it so much.
And you didn't even mention it to the end. How would Ollie feel? I don't know why I said Ali, but that's how I talk about it when I get really excited. It's Ali!
Anyway,
yes!
Prince Ali. Fabulous. All right, you can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, We'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks, and we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. Thanks again, everybody, on behalf of all of us here at Stone Age Gamer and Geekade and whatever. Keep playing games. Just do it. Go jingle your bells.
Jingle bells, it's Christmas time, and it's shitty.